Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 46 of Rannoch, our vanilla Boreal CS1 build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Enjoying the big old strait of Rannoch here. Really love the waterway, and indeed today, we're going to expand the capacity of the waterway. Last couple of episodes, we've spent implementing ferries across the city, which has been very fun. See them moving around here. And so they're getting to the town we set up last episode, Angel. Of course, meeting with buses over here. So this one, after the simulations ran for a bit now post-episode, 97, so pretty much hovering around 100 a week over here, isn't it? Then over the side, we also have, what's this one at? It's pretty much the same, if not slightly less actually, but I imagine that's just due to the buses. We also had some great suggestions last episode of what should lie around these areas too, so thanks for those suggestions, we'll definitely get to them. But today, let's introduce a major ferry network for Rannoch, shall we? I think the most obvious choice and spot for a transit hub with the ferries is right here by the Metro Plaza, right? Which is rocking 2,000 to 3,000 people usually this place at the minute. But I reckon we can make it quite a bit busy with the ferries. So first of all, let's come into our ferries. So there's a few options with the transport hubs. Going to ship hubs, we have the one we used last episode, of course, the ferry and bus exchange. And then we also have the ferry and tram hub over here as well, which is very exciting. One I think I've not really used before. Now we do have trams here, which is very welcome indeed. So why don't we plug it into this, right? So perhaps we could do with a bit more feature around here, right? This is just trees and paths and quays, isn't it? Why don't we add some transport infrastructure here? So we're going to need a road for this, of course. So let's allow that to come out of that road there. And then we'll use this transit hub. So if I could line it up so it's just a somewhat straight connection, I'd be happy with that. Okay, so I think we'll have it here. Anywhere else the terrain really tends to affect it. I think we'll do it here. Let's just keep like a cute little tram loop then, right? I don't think we have any one-way cycling tram roads, do we? No. Let's bring up the road with median. Then I think we will go into that one-way tram loop that comes around here. And then send that back through. And then we can just upgrade that section there. That'll give us a one-way loop and we can do some nice detail around here as well. So with the trams in this area, let's go ahead and grab those. We have one. There's also buses here too. We might as well grab those as well, right? So currently these trams are coming into the central square, which is fine. So let's just pull the tram line into stop here. I'm going to do 2 different area stops, I think. That'll make detail a bit more interesting. So they're both following the one-way loop. It's the same line. It's just going to stop on its way in the city and then back out again. Could argue it's slightly close to this one, but it's going to converge with ferries anyway. So in terms of the configuration for the ferry network, I'm thinking it's just going to be an enormous ring all the way around. And then we can have bi-directional ferries serving that ring to every town, essentially. And they are going to pass by an extremely busy harbour. It's okay though. Cool. And then that can plug into there. Let's actually go ahead and get this full ring established while we're doing it. And then we can just add these stations on where we know they're going to appear. Under the bridge, I know it's going to come round this way. And probably another stop here as well. So probably do that one next as we head down the shoreline. And then it's going to come into kind of Adlam Square, Orchard Park here. It could stop at another one. Probably not at the oil refinery. It's probably not a convenient stop, although I would like a, what do you call it? A cargo harbour there for cargo ships. It won't stop near the airport, I don't think. But it will come alongside the airport to stop at Shaflantic City to meet with airport connections such as this metro over here. And all the way across the straits, up to things over here where we had a great suggestion for a fishing rural village out here. So that'll be a future project where, guess what, there will also be a ferry stop there too. And we can bring one up to Coleridge Hills and Wesley, because this is rich. The people over here will appreciate a ferry. As will people in Datlin and Stratford as it moves through the strait. And that comes back under the suspension bridges, through the harbour, back through here again. And then it can come alongside the port here. And maybe we'll have a stop down here. I'm not really that sure yet. I guess it depends if anything else really significant grows out there. That'd be good for the port, I suppose. And then that can meet up with Angel, where it will eventually have an enormous loop to complete, and then we can tidy up these central lines here too. So while we wait for the ferries to arrive, let's also bring back our little park and path details we had over here. So to make sure this space is nice and walkable. We even provide a key connection there. I think we can, can't we? Yeah, let's do that as well. Cool. Then with this area here, we can do some nice detailing here. I don't really want to zone this area. When we designed the skyline, the point was to have a lot of these sort of significant towers exposed to the waterfront, so I don't want to start blocking their viewpoint. But another very nice view is with the sort of context of ferry line in the foreground, right? With the port behind it. Super nice view, if not for an insanely busy shipping channel. The cruise ships are relentless, aren't they? They cannot schedule themselves, it would seem. Cool, so we can decorate these up. Let's go ahead and throw some airport aprons in with them. And then we'll jump on down to the next ferry station, which is just going to be down the road. So really, just to kind of encompass the tram stations. So what we're doing there, two tiles to the left of the stop. So we'll do that there as well. And then we can probably get some really nice designs here going on as well. But it's fine. Let's bring up some crossings here within the frame of our detailable plaza, which will function as a nice downtown plaza to detail through here. And then let's also grab some content creator trees. Quite landscape through here, right? We know jacarandas though, that kind of features a bit of a centerpiece there, doesn't it? Let's perhaps bring in the kind of oaky look we had before we started working here. It's a little simple oak line to complement that key. Could even be tempted, you know, actually, while we're kind of discussing the waterfront here, maybe changing the shape of the key up. I wouldn't mind some wide key, perhaps. Just give it perhaps a touch more shape, if you like, to the waterfront there. Subtle enough, but it'll work. And hello, people. Look at them using the ferries. Welcome on board, everyone. Will we discover today if we found the most underrated method of public transport? Isn't that funny how they're all taking the key immediately outside of the trams there? Which I guess is fine. I'd rather them use the trams, but you know, are you just gonna walk up to the Metro Plaza through here then? I hope so. God, I could just hang around this bit of the city forever. The video could just endless amounts of scenes from this bit of the city. Easily, I think, one of the most satisfying walking configurations we've ever built. Now Central Rannoch is very much kind of alive and buzzing, right? Very nice. Superb. So this could be detailed with some props. But let's head down the coastline now. Good thing about today's episode as well, I really like these episodes because we get to revisit so many different parts of the city that we've not seen for a while, you know? Always good fun for me. So at some point I'm planning to turn this into a nice little park space, which I was planning to do in a live stream, but if we're working over here again today, then we might do it in the detail time, let's all see. But just want to extend actually here, where that key sort of finishes for us. I reckon we can squeeze in another one here. So I did notice we already have public transport here. I think that's just a simple bus line, isn't it? There's also trams down here as well. But they don't need to converge again because we've got them obviously just around the corner. So I reckon for this one we can just go very simple, regular bus stop here. A ferry stop even. And just nice and straight as we can get it anyway. Now do we want to key this? I think we probably will, you know. I think we probably will. Just take this back a touch. And then just come to our angle snap in here, we'll make it quite rigid. And just get that to sit against the shore. You could even make this bottom ring walkable too with pathway. Need a little bit of sloping in certain sections, but we could probably feed them down into this part too, you know, make it one sort of continual green belt on multiple layers through here. Really fun way to use that landscape, I think. Cool, so let's have that there, and hook in the ferries. Super. And then let's grab our tram medium road, and that's going to go straight down into there. I think it is, isn't it? I know you can terraform here to get rid of this little awkward bump that arises sometimes when you do the keys, but I think I can use it to my advantage. I don't mind it being kind of slightly embanked, you know, like it's on a foundation there. I don't hate that look. Great view to the skyline from here as well, which you've not seen for a long time from the Geth Hub. Very nice. That's a great shot there, isn't it? Really, really cool looking through the towers. Fantastic. Yeah, let's also grab that bus stop as well. Why don't you come into the ferry stop now? It's a bit of a tight turn, I know, but you can deal with it. It's okay. And then you stop again near the Metro Plaza over here, don't you? So that's okay. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and grab some of these rocks then. I'll chuck them on a 2-meter fill. And also rotate them by 90 degrees. And then let's just bring it down. Something like that I think would be quite nice. And I wouldn't be totally averse to some commercial. Just sitting tastefully across from the ferry stop here. Places for lunch for people working at the Geth Hub and obviously people arriving here now too. I'll go back and reinstate the ferry lines once we have all the stations in, because otherwise it's going to be constant extending process. And some smaller bushes in there as well, I reckon. Bits of lantana and long grass scattered around. And that's fabulous, isn't it? Really nice. I probably don't want the car wash here, in all honesty. Of all the assets I didn't want, that was probably one of them, you know. Wonderful. But otherwise, a nice little way to connect into the area here. Now, is this key walkable further down? Did we actually hook this in? We did, yes, there are. Is there anyone actually even using it? I think there are there? I guess a bit more use over this way, but even so. Or maybe this will be the pathway to help it, right? Maybe if they can get down to the ferries, they'll be more inclined to walk here. So just at the end of that little retaining wall with the rocks, let's just add some simple path patterns there. Put them down here as well, so it should work. Encourage people in a bit more. We shall see, and we'll make this historical level 1, whatever it is. Cool. So no one really using this bus either, but there is trams and metro here, so I'm not massively expecting the buses to be super busy, to be honest. But a cute little addition tucked into the side of the mountain there. I like that. Let's head further down the coast and add in some more. But there's the blimp. Wonderful. Heading back over the stadium. Everyone really enjoyed the blimp, actually. Someone was asking if I'd been kidnapped and replaced with another person. As of course I hate the blimps, but Rannoch has turned out to be the city where blimps belong, as it turns out. Right? So again, there's definitely convergence here with the metro and the train, isn't there? Which is wonderful. Really like this area of the city. And if it can be so simple and just say there, is that okay? We are getting that little bit of terrain jank in there, aren't we? I think here, this bit's just going to feel a little bit awkward. I'm wondering if we can terraform out a ferry pier here. Do we have buses around this way? No, it's trams again, isn't it? It is trams again. Well, we could do another ferry tram hub, couldn't we? How expensive are they? I'm wary of smashing Rannoch's budget. Oh, they're only 480 a week. That's not too bad. But yeah, I think maybe terraformed here, adjacent and outside of these stations, is going to be the best place here. I think tucking it onto that corner, it just feels a little bit too awkward. Let's design something for it here. Super, so just an extension of those original features here, just to help accommodate this hub. So with the trams, we do also have, oh, that's the blimp, isn't it? I was wondering what that pink line was then. With the trams, again, is it really worth this tram ferry hub just for that when it's already stopping here? think it might be. I don't think it might be. I'm trying to dissuade myself from being, I guess, just too flamboyant with these designs, but you know what? They are good. I am enjoying them. Take out that central bit. Just lay it kind of banana into that bay, if you like. No problem there. And then with this, let's try and do a slightly different configuration. So, of course, we want a tram road of some description. Let's go with the 2-lane medium one. And I wonder if we want to go... Do we just want to do straight curves there? So it's pretty much equidistant each side as well. 9 by 9 curves. Alright. That wasn't planned. That was the happiest of all accidents, of course. Now I'm wondering if we're going to expand the tram infrastructure here, do we actually want to look at bringing it possibly around the entire waterfront here rather than cutting it back through? Or do we want to bring an alternate line in to run the other direction? Of course, this is the one that goes into downtown, isn't it? So maybe a local tram that just runs the opposite way to this. I think I'll go for that. Let's upgrade the tram infrastructure today as well. So what tram roads are we currently using here? Yeah, let's just stick with these same ones, that's no problem. Yeah, so come up through here. And just meet up with current tram infrastructure. That won't upgrade, that's incredibly annoying. Why? Are you drawing? Oh, come on, key. Don't do this to me now. Hold on. We'll be back, everyone. I don't know why that chose to be so difficult. Everything's exactly the same as it was before. And then again with these pathways, let's just feed people down. And as always, that central space is custom made with the best asset in the game. Classic airport apron. Let's please. How about that? And everyone's happy with that, right? I think you could even afford a slight slope tool here as well. Fantastic. So with the tram, because the tram lines are splitting and doing weird things here, we're going to run, I think, more of a local service tram. I think might be quite cool. So let's go this direction first of all. So the current tram line that's already flowing through this area, let's get them to stop here. And then we'll start the alternating tram line from that opposite stop as well. So come by and stop, of course. This should be a great spot for a tram stop there, actually, where this pathway comes over. Same again down here. Stop at this pathway. Now this is where it needs to switch back over. So come and stop in here. And then from this point, it will serve as that alternate route again, right? So hopefully that's relatively easy to understand what we've done with the tram system there. Stop it down here as well. Is there anywhere else I want to take it? Do we want to bring it into Goodwin Business? There is already buses and metro here. It's probably a bit of a waste of the tram there, isn't it? It's already stopping nearby too anyway, I suppose. Then come back up here. And then you can just mirror your stops as you serve this area. Completing the loop to stop back there as well. Have we stayed on top of naming our trams? We sort of have. Sort of haven't. So this would be the Adlam Square local. Shout out to my wonderful Patreon member as well, Louis Adlam. Here with the people. One of our golden eggs. Thank you for your support, mate. Nice to be back in Adlam Square. I love this part of the city. Yeah, so that can just be the Adlam route local, okay? And I also want to actually change the model on that one as well, if we can. It's just, I think something a bit smaller, something a bit more discreet, I think. If it's just a little local loop. 65 capacity? That'll be alright. I guess we'll find out together, won't we? But another space to detail and design here during our time lapse a bit later on. But that should be a really wonderful convergence with getting people back into, again, to existing public transport infrastructure as the ferries now make themselves known over here. Splendid. And now over to the next one, which will be a little number over here, I think. Now, I don't want to dominate the waterfront here with the same transport hub every single time. We've already got the boat infrastructure and indeed some roads out here as well, so let's just see if we can blend a regular ferry stop into this, right by the convergence of the metro and the trams. So let's grab our normal one. So I think we'll go for something along these kinds of lines is what I'm thinking. We also lost a touch of concrete coverage there as well. Let's make sure we keep that. Fantastic, so that can just nestle in quite nicely behind the buildings there. And then where we've saved that space for walkability back to the key, let's just bring that back through with some vanilla pathway. And then hopefully that'll keep encouraging them to take the keys around the edge of the city here. Fantastic, so nice and easy one to tuck into Shaflantic City there. That's going to get some nice use, we hope. Over this way, we're just going to place it and leave it to perish, essentially, because it won't have any services. It will suffer with horrendous crime, disease, famine, probably, as well. There's no one over here to look after it. But when we come to build that rural fishing town in another episode, we will make sure this connects. And then further down the shore, got a nice little cute area, and because we've already got the road configuration here actually for crossings, I reckon we can just not do too much terraforming. I don't want to really change the shape of Wesley's waterfront, but just enough for it to hold a little ferry stop like that. We can hook that in, make it look quite nice. Let's bring this one over here as well. Make sure we don't lose that pathway there. Critical to the functioning of Rannoch. Every single pathway is thoughtfully placed, of course. Wonderful. And then I reckon again with some rock walls there on the old line too. Let's try and settle that foundation in there. Sometimes it might not be as friendly near the water, but we can bring in a general shape. That's what we really want there. And then those long grasses will really help too. Even get some of the larger rocks around here as well if we like. Go. And then we can even bring things in like, I wonder, you probably won't fit there, will you? I reckon you're just going to be a touch too shallow. Yeah, it's a shame. But another little customizable space. Again, we can hook this in. Fantastic. And then last but not least, I think we've already got the ferry boat hotel aesthetic at Shaflantic City, haven't we, over there? So Dalton's already got a busy enough waterfront. Why don't we add some activity a bit further down, and then give Stratford the ferry stop here? Immediately, the obvious choice is directly outside of the convention centre here, right? I think we have to go for that. Yeah, let's do that there. Although there is a stadium down the way, though. No, it's fine. We'll do it outside of the convention centre. Cool. So a slightly different design with that one and lots more green space around the edge of it. But I think a nice accompaniment and frontage to the convention centre, isn't it? It'd be quite a unique little space that. During the detail and time lapse as well, which is very nearly upon us, I think we will also bring in some, maybe some extra unique buildings around them as well. See if there's any kind of awkward ones we might be able to pair with the convention centre and whatnot. But either way, that leaves us with a fully installed ring by the current non-existent fishing town. And of course, as the western north side, or northwestern I suppose, grows out, I'm not averse to adding more ferry stops down here as well. We'll just slightly amend the shape of the ring as it comes around here. But let's get them detailed up and flowing both directions, and then we'll see just how busy Rannoch's ferry network becomes after. It does have an awful lot of high capacity convergence. My only concern is that AI is going to prefer metro and trams for 90% of the time, I reckon. I think it's just the way that AI will work. But we'll see, regardless. Do some detailing, and then we'll be right back. So let's take a full tour of our Rannoch ferry loop during the D-turn time lapse, shall we? During our public transport views. I'll show you what's happening with the ferries. So we have 3 lines, one of them needs to be named, 2 straight crossing, but we have ferry loops A and B, just running clockwise and anti-clockwise with each other. And then the straight crossing is one that just runs parallel all the way across the straight. So if you just want to cut across rather than having to do the full loop, then they also have that option as well. We'll come across that today as too. So we've got quite a few people waiting, which is very tasty indeed. The ferries are still staggering out on their lines. The loop is enormous, so give it time, it will take them a little bit of sort of a few weeks, if you like, to stagger out across that distance. There you go, they're just starting to begin spacing apart now, right? But they're getting some decent use. They really are. There's not too many here, or maybe we missed them. But we'll keep on heading down to the loop, the one that we created earlier, so just filled out these little areas with props, bit of airport aprons, some shelters and whatnot. Using the new countryside shelters, actually. Been wanting to use these in a public transport stop since they came out. And they fit in very well, don't they? Wonderful, right? I really love the downtown spaces in Rannoch. It feels much more, I don't know, I guess sort of designed than Orchid Bay's city centre did, I think, in hindsight, right? Of course, we put the Metro Plaza in that as an afterthought in Orchid Bay, didn't we? But having it all come together now with the trams flowing in and the cycling, really nice. The trams through here aren't overly busy, but I don't expect them to be. Although there are people waiting, there is just, as a prime example, the AI much prefers the faster methods here. But it's nice to have the ferry supporting regardless. And using some assets that we've not used before, like the ferry tram stations, right? These are really cool assets, which you get as part of the Snowfall DLC, by the way, if you're wondering. There's big transit hub updates a few years ago now. Around this one, just some rock walls around that elevation, which I really like. I like the foundation here, like we talked about during the build. And then the bus comes in, turns around, drops people off again. Not an overly busy one, this one, but there's a few folks hanging around. And then this spills onto the waterfront. As we arrive across the other one here, you can see the straight crossing ferries arrive here too. These are these smaller ones here. Heading back to Stratford over there. So a really busy sort of variation in Rannoch's waterways now, right? You can see fishing boats, you've got cruise liners, there's ferries. There's more stuff across the water happening, of course, with those fishing boats over there. And you can see the opposite loop of the ferry coming back that way too. So the waterways, like the Strait of Rannoch, is really, really alive and busy now, which is such a cool sight to see, isn't it? When we started out, it was just so quiet, and now it's this really busy, sort of important shipping lane, isn't it? Really cool to see. Beyond that, at this ferry stop, there's a few folks waiting again. This one I took busier because it has the straight crossing here, which is very tasty. And then just more landscaping. Fountain Plaza, sit and fit perfectly where I wanted it to go. So this one's sort of detailed itself, really. A nice little amendment onto Adlam Square, of course, which is such a busy public transport hub, isn't it? Metro and trains both converging here, with the trams nearby too. This is a really, really cute bit of the city. I'm really happy with how all this looks and how it functions and all ties together all these episodes later, right? It all comes full circle at some point, and of course, just wonderful views to an end game Rannoch at this point, right? We're very much in the late stage of the game now. The downtown is mostly done, and all these variation of public transport networks, the arterial bundle, just looks fantastic, doesn't it, as it's in full flow to reinforce that point. So really enjoying the later stages. Probably my favourite city, I think. I think Rannoch is my favourite now. And as we come into the boat hotel, there's another example here of just how much the Sims will prefer that much faster option of public transit, right? Trams share a little bit while Metro shares the bulk. So really cool there. Blended this one in with more rock walls where we had the elevation. A bit of nightlife zoning right on the station front as well. So you emerge out the station here in Shaflantic City. Right by the diners and all the open signs. You walk down and see the casino, the towers, the laugh track sign. It's all there for a great time, isn't it? As you arrive at Shaflantic City to get wasted and lose an awful lot of money. And possibly catch some diseases as well. Beyond that, over on the more nicer side of town of Wesley Kit, as we come past the lighthouse, which again today's build has given this lighthouse much more purpose, hasn't it? With the ferries passing right by the rocks here, so really happy with that. And then this one here, again just really simple, right? That's definitely the title of today's episode, isn't it? Just simple and easy ferry stops that bolt onto existing infrastructure, a bit of commercial. There's some stone texture decals around here if you can exclude the awkward flickering that comes with vanilla. It's for this reason in the next series I think we'll have much more quality of life mods, move it, node controller, just to get rid of these more harsher edges of vanilla, right? I think that's what we'll go for. Post-series Rannoch, if there is one, if that's what you guys want, let me know down in the comments. If you still want to see new CS1 series all these years later. Beyond this ferry stop is getting some nice use as well. The statue of Jerry, grills, flower beds, benches, really cute design. Sits in very nicely into Wesley Town Centre. And then all the way down here on Stratford Waterfront, we have more landscape design. Took the opportunity to include some car parking at the front of such an important venue like the conference centre is. And then this just has lots of landscaping around it, some nice sort of fun rock and tree gardens in those open spaces too. With lots of symmetry and design around the front of the ferry stop. With this one proving to be significantly more popular. Let's have a little look at this one, shall we? We got 66 here already. We can spot a ferry crossing on here as well. So that one's actually full to capacity already, which is quite tidy. And this one as well, also. Going up to 70 out of 70 passengers, we got 106 at one stop. Is that this one? I bet it is, isn't it? Oh no, that's the one over by the stadium there. But that's really cool, right? We've got more than 100 people waiting at the ferry stops now as the loop begins to kick in and the fresh AI starts to set new routes and they're choosing that as an option. That's a lot of fun to see. Very satisfying. That was I'm actually kind of glad that we've waited so long to implement ferries because it's nice to see them come alive like this rather than just being integrated from the start. But yeah, really fun. I think that they're pretty underrated ferries. I think that, are they mass transit? I think they are, aren't they? To remind myself. Yes, they are mass transit. But you can get an instant gaming below, by the way, if you're missing them. Super cheap now. And it helps support the channel. But otherwise, a tremendously fun episode, I think, as we've spent lots of time today overlooking some old builds and some new sightlines that we've stumbled upon in today's build. But I'll shut up and leave it there. A massive shout out to the patrons and YouTube members that support these videos, with a roll call to our golden patron X, Andrew Perez, Bad Wolf, Casino, Darius, Lara Roberts, Louis Adlam, Phoenix MD, Spartan Angel, and Wesley Kip. Thank you so much indeed for your incredible support. You are heroes of the channel and the people indeed. To get involved in that instant gaming and Patreon are the best ways to support the channel. If you so wish, there's plenty more over there, including podcasts with other cities skylines creators like Biffa. There's early access on there as well for Rannoch if you want to get involved in that, so check out if you're interested from as little as £2 a month. Otherwise, enjoy today's cinematics of this strait, which should look really nice, especially the night time as we sweep across the lit up bays of Rannoch. Should be really impressive. Otherwise, I'll shut up and leave it there. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.